We can't get enough of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's Venice, Italy wedding, and even better, our Page 16 reporter Mara Siegler was there, boots on the ground. Give us the tea. What was it like? It seemed so chaotic and crazy.
You know what? It was definitely a spectacle. It was very over the top. But what I will say is, so the way that Venice is set up, it's so hard to get anywhere. I mean, you're walking, you're getting on a public ferry. If you are a Bezos guest, they got water taxis for everybody. Those cost about $300 an hour, $400. So, they were going from their hotel right to the water taxi. But so the area for the wedding was, they shut down, the police shut down all of the canals around it, so you really couldn't get up close. There's paparazzi, there are reporters there, there were people just lining up behind the police barricade for this bridge. So on the first night, it was at Madonna del Orto Church. You had all the canals just in that area. But again, like if the bridge is shut down, you're not getting across. They had cops on Polizia, on jet skis, which was kind of fun to see and very Baywatch. And they had, the boat police and then the police at the thing. But so people were standing there with their selfie sticks, just trying to get any shot. I tried to go down one of the smaller little alleyways, and the cops at the end, no one was down there. I was like, I'm just a gawker. Can I just watch the water taxis go by? And they were like, no, you have to leave this alleyway. Like, you have to go far away.
You're like, I just am a big Oprah fan. I'm hoping to catch Oprah.
I really wanted to see Oprah. What I will say is, so they rented out the Amman in its entirety. They also rented out the Gritty, which is another luxury hotel. You also had guests at Danelli, I think it's called, or pronounced. And then you had them at Cipriani and also at the St. Regis, where Bill Gates was staying. I saw Ivanka Trump there. I kind of posted up in the bar because that was one of the places that you could get in. But they did also have police in the lobby that sort of like stood around. They were in the bar. They were actually watching people play bar games until the important people would walk by.
And there were police, but were there also Secret Service? Did you clock that, or you couldn't really tell the difference?
It would have been very hard to tell. There were definitely a lot of assistants around, though, for these people. I mean, they're getting on this boat. It's, they have their people with the backpack. Maybe it's a glam team. Maybe it's just their assistant making sure, everything is settled for them.
That's amazing. And so by night 3 of the festivities, was the town kind of over it? Could you tell something changed in the air?
You know what? There was a lot of news about protests. I did not actually see anything. I saw maybe like one sticker that said in Italian, Bezos, kiss my ass, I think it was. But for the most part, on the final wedding day, there was a large protest. It took place at the train station, but it was pretty avoidable. And Venice is very small. But again, if you're not like in that area, and they did have the events. So while there were a lot of security, it wasn't to the level that I thought it would be. So for example, for the second night, they were on the island of San Giorgio. And because you can't crash, you can't protest. It's in the middle. So they did have, the police, and it was situated on one side of the island, so you really had to like pull up. You wouldn't have gotten in if you had tried to. And they did have a public ferry running to another part of the island, and then the rest of it closed. I was sitting across the water at the Cipriani trying to hear anything.
With your binoculars.
I did hear cheers when I guess they said I do, and there was a gospel choir that you could hear. But I mean, it was very
That's
secure.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure with all these people flooding into a small Renaissance town, air travel, no flight delays, all that was perfect, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh, the flight delays were just a nightmare. But again, I think a lot of these people did take private jets. Oprah's not taking Ida Airways or something.
Salma Hayek's billionaire husband,
Right.
He did not fly commercial.
Right, so a lot of these people, there was also people who came in on their yachts. Bezos, for example, had his yacht in Croatia, and then I'm sure they just took a helicopter over.
And of course, we saw that yacht where the foam party happened the weekend before the wedding.
Yes, they had, foam party. The last night was a pajama party. So they definitely had the themes going on.
I have to admit, it's giving a little bit like middle school lock-in with some of these theme parties, but this is what $50 million gets you, whatever you want.
So now what a source told me about the clothing and about the guests is they weren't even given the location. So they were given a time to show up for this water taxi provided by Bezos and Sánchez. And they were given a mood board. So they weren't told, oh, you know, it's black tie or it's this or it's cocktail. They gave them like pictures to inspire them.
Wow, like a Pinterest mood board. I mean, that's probably why some of the dresses we saw were so vastly different.
Yes, it was a real mix of people. I actually just did a story, Sydney Sweeney. People were asking why she was there. We heard she's actually going to be starring in an Amazon movie coming up. It's based off of a game. So she was there in sort of old Hollywood style to kiss the ring. You also had Brooke Snyder. I guess that she's very good friends with Lauren Sánchez. But then Mick Jagger was there. He was apparently cutting up the dance floor on the last night, the final party. Usher played, DJ Cassidy played. So Jessica Alba, like every time I talked to somebody, there was a new name of a person.
It's a real who's who, event where it's like, a Mad Libs, Hollywood Squares kind of moment for, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sánchez, and a few people that skipped for different reasons, which we also talked about.
Yes.
Eva Longoria, Katy Perry.
Yes.
Salma Hayek.
Orlando Bloom was having a great time, though. My source told me that he was partying hard and very sweaty. It was very, very hot in Venice. So, I mean, I think everybody was sweaty, but I think he was having a good time.
He won the most sweaty award.
Exactly. But yeah, aside from the security, the only other sort of grumblings, a lot of the hospitality people I talked to, they were very tight-lipped. Nobody was going to tell me anything for fear of being fired. But as far as, what do you guys think about like celebrities coming in? Everybody was like, it's great for business. Again, they work in hospitality. Of course, they're going to say that. I did have a source tell me, though, I went and checked out the Amman before Bezos and Sánchez got there. So they had bought out the entirety of the hotel. And I learned from some sources that guests who had previously booked months ago for anything past that Wednesday were then given a different hotel somewhere like the St. Regis, somewhere of like equal quality. But they were, offered upgrades, given some perks, a free night, but they were very upset to have to, in the middle of their vacation, pack up from this like gorgeous space where they've got all their stuff out and then lugging your luggage around
like
Venice is very
streets.
hard. Yes.
So they were booted but not kicked to the curb.
Right. They were placed elsewhere. Yes.
Well, this is all so juicy. Thank you so much for sharing the details, and welcome back
to
the United States, back on solid ground, just in time for the 4th of July.
Yes.
And for more of Jeff and Lauren's epic wedding and all the fallout that's come since, go to page6.com.